Today, I wanted to sink into the theme of compassion. And we've been walking towards that for these last 5 days. Compassion to me is a key element of how we create that expansion and how we can really allow ourselves to rest deeply in those moments, not only when we're suffering and in pain, but also in immense joy and pleasure and everywhere in between. Compassion helps us come into presence even more deeply and be with ourselves and others with warmth, curiosity, and care. When compassion is here, it brings just such a natural movement of the heart towards everything we do. And honestly, it makes everything just a little bit easier. For folks who've experienced trauma or significant overwhelm, it can be a little bit easier to be with suffering, actually. We have found that opening to the things that actually feel quite pleasant or easeful or joyful, that has a little bit more energy to it. And for some people, that can be a little overwhelming or activating in the system. It can feel unfamiliar. Not everyone, but I'm seeing some hands go up. Okay. So for me and for our purposes today, the intention is that we can really bring compassion to everything so that we can grow our tolerance. We can expand our tolerance to be with whatever it is that each of us has an edge around, and it can help us soften that edge. And I just wanted to say that to normalize, if you are somebody who accesses the suffering and the pain more easily than the joy, the pleasure. Some people are not that way, but I am. So I tend to share towards that more often. When our nervous systems are stuck in a state of what we might call sympathetic activation, that's the experience of fight, flight, freeze, trying to mobilize away from a perceived threat or a real threat. That experience of fight actually can be self-criticism. It can be self-judgment. It can be putting others above us or below us in an effort to survive, to try to move us towards safety. Many of us don't realize that if we get stuck in those places that don't feel so compassionate, where we're in that critical mind, that it's for a good reason often, or it started out for a really good reason. And so when we can bring compassion in and we can know that it just makes sense, that we've landed there, that we're in those loops of, I'm not enough, or they're not enough, or whatever it is, compassion helps ease that and gives us a little space to move more towards something that may feel a little bit better. Some phrases that I love to bring into my life on a daily basis that I'd love for you to borrow. I fully borrowed them from mentors and teachers and retreats and practices. I'm going to share them with you. You're welcome to write them down or listen again and see if any are some you can use towards yourself or towards people that are in your life. And I find that they elicit that sense of warmth. One is, I see you, I hear you, and I'm with you. If there's a young part that shows up, that's one of the first things I'll do, hand to heart. I see you, I hear you, and I'm with you. Another one is, I love you, and I'm listening. Internal or external, works both ways. I love you, keep going. A more traditional compassion phrase is, I care. I care about this pain. May I hold this pain and suffering with ease. And one that I use a lot is, others feel this too. And so please borrow them, use them, try them on, repeat them again and again, and see which ones stick for you. And let me know how it goes. And honestly, just that gesture, that somatic gesture, hand to heart, without even a phrase, that can be enough in a moment. And so, what we'll move into in our practice today is a little bit of gentle movement and breath work. And that might mean you hang out in your chair. You can stretch and shift and move in your chair for a few minutes. You can go to the floor and stretch out. And what the intention around that is for a few minutes is bringing compassion and the intention of compassion into how we're listening to what our body wants to have happen in each moment. We could so often go into a few minutes of movement and do those dance moves that are so familiar, those things that we're just mechanically called to, that we've done a million times. And so the first part of the practice is an invitation to just compassionately touch in to how the body wants to move and what wants to be tended to as we're welcoming our bodies into our hearts today. And then the second part of the practice will be a very gentle breath work. And breath work is super lovely for some people, and it doesn't work for others. And it's an invitation to experiment and explore. So even if you don't do the circular breath that I'll invite you into because you know that it doesn't work for your system, you can just let your breath be natural and hear the words that I'm also sharing with you that will be compassion phrases, and just let them land on your heart and your being. So before we move into that, let's take a few full breaths and turn our hearts towards an intention around compassion today. And just setting an intention for yourself. And you can also listen for if compassion had an intention for you today. What might it be? And then we'll settle even more fully into the practice now. And you can find a place, find a posture where you can allow your body to begin to just move, allowing your mind to just settle into this intention as your body begins to move. And the movements can be so subtle that we could barely see them, or they can be big. You can notice where the places are and the movements move towards spaciousness or freedom, expansion. And we can come back to that phrase from a couple days ago. What is the most loving thing I can do in this moment for my body? Notice which parts of your body are calling you towards them. What impulses want to happen. And that compassion phrase, if needed, I care about this pain. If there's a pain or a fear, something arising that maybe doesn't feel so great. And as part of this movement for this last minute of this part, maybe your hands come into that movement, just bringing a soothing pressure, contact. And we welcome every part. And then we'll fall gently into silence and stillness for a moment here and become aware of how your body feels now after even just a little movement. Noticing any space, any flowing energy, any resource. And as we move into the breath work, you can be sitting, you can be lying down. And we'll begin to breathe in a connected way, very slowly. And the way I enjoy exploring this practice is breathing in and out through the mouth with no pause between the inhale and exhale. And we're not going for catharsis. We're not going for such intense breathing that everything gets overwhelming and comes up at once. We're touching into how can I allow my breath to be connected, and how can I receive each breath with a sense of compassion. And your inhale might be a little bit more efforted than your exhale. You can drop your jaw open. You might even massage your face. And the exhale just falls out of your body. As though the entire body sighs on the exhale. And it can be a little tense or tight or awkward at first. Stay with it. It shifts and changes. And on the inhale, see if it's possible for your throat and jaw to, you can imagine it could be as wide as your rib cage. And your chest and belly lift and fall with each inhalation and exhalation. Breathing in compassion and breathing out compassion. I see you. I'm here with you. I hear you. Or if there are any places of tightness or tension in your mind or body, you can bring a gentle breath to that place and make a sound on the exhale, as though that tightness could sound. I love you. Keep going. Allow the breath to come into the back of your body and all the way down into your pelvic bowl. And you can feel your wings with each breath, expanding wide and coming down to rest. Allowing your belly and chest to continue to rise and fall, but bringing the focus now into your heart space. Feeling your heart expand and contract with each breath. And just listening here. Just listening. I care about this. Whatever it is, pleasant, unpleasant, neither, can bring warmth and care. And even if we can't, we can bring warmth and care to that. I love myself for not knowing how. We'll stay with this connected breath for a few more minutes here. Notice where the breath comes in, where it feels easier. And let that exhale be even more effortless if possible. May we hold whatever's here with ease. Allowing your body to move and shift as you breathe. Others feel this too. And now allow your breath to become natural. And if you were breathing through your mouth, you might begin breathing through your nose if that's comfortable. Notice anything here that feels more spacious or soothed, supported, or maybe it's the complete opposite. It's all welcome. It's all information, and it all matters. And we'll spend a minute here in a healing silence, allowing our bodies to integrate this work, this practice. And let yourself be as comfortable as possible. Anchoring to anything here that feels supported, even if it's just 1% of something. It could be in your body or in your environment. And take your time. You can continue to rest or follow the sound of my voice more fully into the space and back into the day. I'm so grateful to have gotten to practice with you. I'm so moved for all of you being here, showing up so fully for your practices. I am grateful every day to get to walk this path with you. Thank you for giving yourself this precious time. Have a beautiful rest of your day.